Hello, guys. Good day. This is Anna of Reinforce Me Club. Today, we are going to talk about self esteem because it's critical for our mental health nowadays. And we got loads of challenges in life, crisis, war. Although that's already out of our control, we're just gonna deep dive on self esteem and how important it is. Because understanding and fostering self esteem is crucial for our personal growth and happiness as an individual. I just want to bring this out to you because I don't have self esteem before. Well, if I ever have, it could be little. Since primary school to around 25 years old or 28 years old, I could have self esteem, but it wasn't enough. I was a terrible person and I talked myself down, and in the age between around 8 to 20 or 8 to 22, I feel like there was no sense of living. I don't find any meaning in my life. I feel like I'm not important. I wasn't accepted, but it wasn't that obvious enough. I just carry on. It's just like every day I feel stuck and nothing to do. I feel like, you know, people wouldn't give a heck about me until I became 30, or from 28 to this point in my life. Gosh, this is the best part. You rock with self esteem. And I think it's worth noting to develop self esteem at early age. No, no regrets. Absolutely. It's the greatest thing that's going to happen to you, to everybody, when you have self esteem when you are young. Now, self esteem actually, it's how much you appreciate and like yourself, regardless of your circumstances, regardless of how shitty it is, how problematic is the situation. You still like yourself. You can still able to come up with good solutions suitable for that problem that you're facing right now. Self-esteem overall is how you value yourself, your personal worth, and it is a some kind of subjective, you know, note to yourself that I am worthy, I am competent, in spite of your emotional state, that you feel down, you feel shameful, you feel despair, but in the midst of that, because the amount of love, the level of love that you have on yourself, to yourself, is immeasurable. You're gonna do what it takes to get your shit together, to get your act together. Then that's how you become resilient. You rise above. Now, how self-esteem develops and shaped in early childhood by our parents, family members, peers, and wonderful memories. That is why for parents, it's you're never gonna regret it if you spend time with your kids, making memories, investing on experience with your family, because there will come a time when you're about to sign off from this planet and you see your kids, you raise them well, and they're happy. That's the best thing that you could ever, best legacy that you could ever leave in this planet. Seeing them happy and spreading the love that you left them, that you teach them. They teach it to their children. They're also making memories with their family as you did, and they never miss a time making memories, making time with you as you grow old. And that's the best part of being a parent. It's not going to be easy. Some parents could complain about it, but it's already there. It's a responsibility. But since it's already there, it's why can't we just think about it like, since we were already there, why can't we just give it 100%? 100% commitment, not halfway. What I'm trying to say is, when you're there, when you're present with your kids, just be there 100%. Not be there physically and your mind is at work or somewhere else, the golf course, you're never gonna regret spending time with your kids. I'm telling you. And even myself, my dad spent majority of his life with me, and I could never forget that kind of love. I could never find that kind of love to anyone else other than to give it to other people, to share it, to share that kind of love that my dad gave me to other people. Share it, because I couldn't find it, so I have to give it, to show the world that this is how I'm raised by the best dad in the world. Now, self-esteem actually develops basically from parental influences. If your parents are supportive and nurturing, well, that could be a good positive reinforcement for you to help, you know, you as a child, or to help your child build a self-esteem. And conversely, when your parent is kind of critical, neglectful, they're always busy, they're always doing their job, even if when they're home, they're still doing their job, not making time with kids. So somehow it hinders the child's development mentally. That they might be thinking, my dad was also hardworking before, and he keeps working all day, all night. The only time I was able to appreciate that it was all for me is by the time I graduated with, from my course that he wants, and then he made it up to me. We spent many times together. That's why I could say that he's the best dad in the world. He didn't say anything. He showed it. Well, maybe most men, but dad never say anything. He show it. Action speaks louder than words. And self-esteem also develops with social interactions with peers and friends. That's a crucial rule, which means that when you feel accepted, that's a positive feedback and a good score for your self-esteem. While when you're bullied or being rejected, it can damage your self-worth. Sometimes it makes you ask why. I'm also a human being. Why do I get rejected? And as you grow up, you don't necessarily have all the answers in the world. Most of the time, you're gonna get the answer by way of just coming up with an answer. And life will show you lessons and lessons till you can come up with the answer. And your answer actually improves progress over time, because life will show you more lessons, and then the way you interpret things, the way your philosophy actually change over time. So your schooling life, just like everybody else. And another thing is that self-esteem develops through achievements and competence. So some people channel that effing low self-esteem to achievements, recognition, drive to win, just like some athletes, champion athletes. So these children, made success in various activities like academic, athletic, social contributions to get a sense of competence and self-worth. So when they are recognized that they are really good, you're excellent, that's a good score again for self-esteem. And to some people, when they struggle with, academically, and they weren't able to cope up with it, and that impacts their self-esteem negatively. But the best people who changed the history, look, they've been rejected, like Colonel Sandler, the person who founded KFC, has been rejected more than 800 times for his chicken recipe, and he even started beyond 60. Look, he was able to make it with all the life struggles. He started working since he was 12, early, like teenage life. He kept working all his life. He got rejected, and look at KFC now. I love the chicken KFC. That's why I was able to come up with it. And even Henry Ford, many failed inventions to come up with the cheapest car available for for the public, not only for the rich people, but he was able to come up with a model with countless of failed inventions until he was able to make it, that model, Ford model, available for the public. Now, we can actually get a good score of, for our self-esteem by being just stubborn, to really stick to get what we want, sticking to our goals in numbers of years. And the more years that you're working on it and you finally get it, the amount of rewards rush, like stormy rewards that you're gonna get. So it doesn't mean that it wouldn't work today. It could work tomorrow, next year, 3 years, 5 years, if you don't stop. That's the only way for you to be able to know that the thing that you're working on do work, if you don't give up. Now, the importance of self-esteem, it affects every aspects of our lives, like in our mental health. When you have high self-esteem, you have better mental health. Even though you don't necessarily have a good grades, you don't necessarily be accepted by all sorts of people, peers, to have high self-esteem. You do it to yourself. You plant it to yourself. You give it to yourself. Just as long as you understand and you value yourself well, and your parents supports you for that, and you know yourself that you are worth it, a diamond. You're priceless. Every person is priceless. Every person can give something on the table. So, not necessarily that even though you don't have the things that others have, it means that you have low self-esteem. No. You do that to yourself. You produce high quality self-esteem through yourself. Otherwise, if you have low self-esteem and you feel worthless, there's no meaning in your life. You feel depressed and anxious about what's going to happen tomorrow. Way back at the time when I was a teenager, I actually felt worthless, and there were times when I'd rather get gone. I mean, what am I here for? But those days, God never allowed that to happen, ever. I couldn't even get myself to really, put myself into compromise by my own intention. Because for me, that's an insult. Insult to God, insult to the universe, insult to myself. I'd rather be compromised by different circumstances outside of me way back. But this time, no way. I'm in charge, and I keep my act together. I keep my shit together. And when you have high self-esteem, you know exactly how to build good relationships. You're gonna have a healthy relationship with other people, and satisfying too. Otherwise, if you have low self-esteem, it'll be the opposite. And when you have high self-esteem, you can cope up better with stress and recover from setbacks, which means that you are resilient if you have high self-esteem. No matter how many rejections you have, how many failures you have, it wouldn't matter though, because in time you're gonna get what you want. It might not be today, it might not be next year, but if you don't stop, you'll eventually gonna get it. That's how dreams come true. Dreams do come true. I've never even thought about the day that I'll be coming to a Western country, because I wasn't good in English. Look, even talking to you right now, I have broken English. And when I was younger, around high school, college, I don't even know how I can come up with a writing. Sometimes I don't even understand what I'm reading. And here I am, aiming to go to America after I graduated. I don't even have a healthy study habits. But since college, I always thought about going somewhere outside Philippines and have a car and a house. And almost every day, I thought about that. And every day, I'm afraid, anxious, that it might not gonna happen. I only have simple dreams in life: to finish college, be a nurse, and buy my own house, have a car. And I'm already anxious about it that it won't come true. And I want it to be in some other countries. And suddenly, out of all the rejections that I have, it was like even job rejections, job interviews. I failed in English test 5 times. F in English test, expensive too. And I until the day that I finally get it, I finally get myself to become that person I want to be. It's not about the person buying the car and having a house, a stable job, security. It's not about that. That's a dream. But in the most part, though, you have to be the kind of person. It's the kind of person, that you want to be. It's not about the house and fancy car. Become the kind of person. So I have imagined what kind of person is that, the Anne that I'm aiming for 10 years from now. And I got to be that kind of person every day. So what happened was when I failed in those English tests for 5 times, I finally come up with good study habits. I read books. I listen to audiobooks. I'm a big fan of audiobooks on YouTube because I couldn't even afford the Audible books. And Audible wasn't even available way back that time. That was around 2008 to 2013 or 2015. So I'm not sure when was the Audible got available publicly, internet. But that time it wasn't. I didn't even heard about it. So I develop a good study habit. I read books, Audible. I read business books. I realized that I'm interested with business books, self-help. I don't like much fiction. I do love fiction movies, but not read them. I love self-help, productivity, and money-making books. And I stick to it up to this time. So I was able to decide who I want to be when I was in Saudi already. That was around 2015. So I didn't stop reading. Where there could be a year wherein I stopped because, I'm in Philippines. I went back to the old me again. But I still have those books piling there, stacking on the bookshelf to remind me about what I want. Other than that, buying a house and a car and have a secure job. Other than that. And finally, it did come true. That having a house and a car after 15 years of dreaming it. That was a long time. I thought about dreaming it like I wasn't serious about dreaming it. But I'm telling you guys, if you're clear about what you want and do something about it every day, it's not going to take you 15 years. Months, years, 3 years, 5 years, not 15 years. So you got to be intentional every day, present every day with building your empire, with building good relationship, maintaining and making memories with your loved ones, and of course, in the most part, taking care of yourself, of your health. Now, you become resilient if you have high self-esteem. And when you have a good self-worth, when you value yourself, you become confident. And that confidence will help you get achievements. You're confident enough that in spite of all the rejections and how people view you as a mad person because you never stop, you don't give up, you're going to achieve more. You are persistent in achieving your goals. Persistently stubborn because you're going to get what you want in time. It might not be today. That's the best part. Now, how to develop a high self-esteem among teenagers. So this is the age 13 to 19, wherein you can witness the rebel of the kids, rebel of the nation. You can see them, you don't even understand them. It's hard to interact with these teens. I can relate to that because it's not that I have a teenager now, but way back when I was a teenager, me and dad wasn't good friends. We're not we're not close friends that time. I had a close friends with my friends in school, my neighbors, except with dad. I wouldn't even tell him anything about personal because I feel like it. But I need dad presence. That kind of love from from a father, from my father, gives me a freedom to be myself, which is encouragement of self-expression. So that's one way to develop high self-esteem among teens. Encourage self-expression. Allow teens to express themselves and their individuality. So whatever they want in life, if they're boys, they want to be girls, or girls, they want to be boys. Eventually, that identity crisis will get fixed itself in later life. Otherwise, if that's how they really want to be, then be it. There's nothing you can do. We are born unique. And, positive reinforcement. So you reinforce the teens to whenever they make even small efforts, achievements. Reinforcement, which is sincere and specific. Like even just coming back from school. So how are you doing today? How are you feeling? How do you find school? Get some rest. I appreciate your effort from going to school. Well, it wouldn't be that ideal though. But make them feel that they've done a good job, regardless of how small it is. And it's important also to become a model parent, elder brothers and sisters, a positive model of self-esteem, to demonstrate to them about self-respect and confidence in our actions as elders, as the role model of these teens. And in that way, when we walk our talk, when we do what we say, we can help them learn resilience. We can help them learn to get up from failures and setbacks, emphasizing growth and learning. So where else could they ever get the resilience except from their parents, from people close to them? So as much as possible, we gotta be strong for the kids, for our little brothers and sisters. And you could also foster competence by encouraging these teenagers to get involved in activities where they can succeed and build skills. So for example, if they like math, so let them join on math club. If they want to make changes on, math activities, encourage them to, if they want to be the president or whatever they want. Or even if they don't want anything, they'll be happy by themselves. Okay, as long as they're safe, their thoughts are, their thoughts, they're good to go. Competence, another thing. Not all teenagers would love to be a leading person on math, sciences, and sports. Some teenagers could even want to be YouTubers or whatever they want, as long as their exposure to the media is limited, like 2 hours of being a blogger, but never forget the main thing. That is their presence to their family, doing their assignments, not forgetting their personal responsibilities. Now, to develop high self-esteem among adults, it's important. What I'm trying to say is, self-awareness is important. So, for us adults, we have to reflect on ourselves to understand our strengths and weaknesses. We invest more on our strength, but we never forget our weaknesses. We visit our weaknesses from time to time. If we are starting a business, doing a project, we must have somebody or hire somebody to cover up your weaknesses. But keep checking on those if you delegate those projects because you're not good at it or you don't like to do it. Self-awareness. Own your mistakes. Own your weaknesses. That's how you amend. Now, you can also set realistic goals. realistic goals to become confident and realize your achievements. Build positive relationships. Surround yourself with supportive and positive people, not with shitty people. No. So, some people are ambivalent, some people are toxic. Ambivalent, it's a no, it's a big no. Those are people who are two-faced. You don't know if you like them. If you, you don't know if they like you. They're not 100% into you. It's draining. These people are draining. They're gonna eat up your energy, so you'll know if they ever like you. And that does that even matter? If you keep draining your energy for this effing people who don't even give a fuck on you, who don't even give a heck about you. These are ambivalent people. Toxic people, okay, it's easy. It's easy to get away from them. Because they're toxic and you got your own standards. Self-care. Self-care. Workouts. Healthy diet. Meditation. Good sleep. Self-care for adults. And lastly, challenge the negative thoughts. So argue with yourself. When that inner voice tells you that you can't do it, just stay at home and relax. Watch Netflix. You can argue with that little voice, that little bitch talking to you that you can't do it. Because your goal is to do it and get it done today. Not the other way around. Not get done the Netflix episode. So practice cognitive restructuring to combat negative self-talk. So if yourself telling you that you can't do it, that you could be BS at times, you can answer yourself, yes, I could be BS at times, but I am the best BS for everybody that gets on my way to my goals. Now, what does a low self-esteem look like? Having a person who have poor perception of oneself. They feel inadequate, not enough. They feel unloved. They feel incompetent, inadequate. Yeah, it's terrible to feel this way though. Inadequacy. I felt this way back when I was a teenager, when I failed in those exams and got 0 on quizzes, when I get rejected from the job from my favorite company. I feel unloved by important people in my life when I was younger. But it turned out to be the greatest thing that ever happened. Now you can talk back to that negative self-talk. When that little voice tells you you're not good enough, you can't do anything right, you can tell yourself, why? How can you say it? And I will do anything right now. Because you told me I can't do anything right. You can argue with yourself, please. Because our brain is made to keep us safe. And by the time that we're trying to get out from that comfort zone that we have, our brain pulls us back to our comfort zone. Sometimes you need to fight. We need to fight ourselves. And when you have negative, low self-esteem, you avoid challenges. You just want to be safe. Huddle in the corner. You don't want opportunities. Failures. Wherein failures could be the best part that can happen to you. Because every time you fail, you're going to learn something. And when you fail, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get your goal. You're not going to get rewarded. Failure is a lesson. And when you have low self-esteem, you are sensitive to criticism. You tend to overreact. Your interpretation to criticism makes you overthink most of the time. You don't want to get along with people. You isolate yourself because you feel unworthy. And, the other way around. Having a low self-esteem could make you excessively perfectionist, striving for unrealistic standards and feeling worthless. Because, of course, those are unrealistic standards. And when you don't practically get them every day because you're not doing anything about it. And other than that, it's unrealistic. You make your own worthless hole to bury yourself every time those standards aren't met. Now, I'm actually bringing this up today for us to understand how important self-esteem is for on the way to our journey in achieving our goals and improving ourselves, in building healthy relationships, in building empire, in going to our job, to our workplace. Self-esteem is everything, and it's better to have it produced from you, in your heart. Is self-love. If you don't have enough love in yourself, that reflects to your environment, externally, to your relationships, to your health. So that's how important is your self-worth is. Love yourself, like yourself, regardless of what other people say, regardless of the situation. And that's one of the best way to rise above, to dominate. To dominate your niche, to dominate in your area of favorite area, whatever it is. Or just merely become the best version of you, which is worth a role model by your kids, by your loved ones. Self-love is everything. Everything starts with self-love. Anyway, if you ever love this episode today, you can share it to your family and friends. You can follow me in YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, even in YouTube Podcasts. This is Anna of Reinforce Me once again, and I do appreciate your time. Have a lovely Saturday. Thank you very much.